Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Breed to Succeed bonus episode with two bonus guests here tonight. On a bonus Monday afternoon. I'll go to the top first. Mr. Nick Hooper, welcome.
To the top. I think you've got that horribly wrong, but thank you for having us, Paul. Great to be here.
And very big welcome, and thank you for joining us, Mr. Dayle Brown. Been a huge day in harness racing, huge build up to this. I've been alluded to it for a little while, and I think some people have known some of the intricacies of what's going to be happening. But it's been a great day, hasn't it?
Oh, good afternoon, Paul, and good afternoon, Nick. And we've got the man of the hour, Nick Hooper, here. So looking forward to hearing from Nick on these great announcements. And yeah, look, it's been a wonderful day for harness racing in this state. We're going to announce, as we've alluded to in your opening, and has been put across many media channels today, the wonderful breeding announcements that have been announced via Harness Breeding Victoria and HRB today.
Absolutely. We have got to do just a couple of things. I got to do one thing and kill the volume on that, otherwise I'll get into trouble. Last week we were at Kath McIntosh's, and I might have got sidetracked, which is very unlike me to do these sorts of things. So I do apologise, and we've got the barrel to draw out for the members draw. So the winner of this will get a $250 voucher. Actually, I should be doing this on screen. That was off screen, so I better make sure I do it on screen. To be used at Kath McIntosh's farm. So effectively, you will get to use either with the 4 stallions that she has dealings with, which are Melmara, Yankee Rockstar, Poster Boy, or Soho Tribeca. 3 of those are greatly affected by today's announcements, which is really, really good. Or you can use that through with your breeding system scheme as well. So there's a few great little incentives there. And this winner is, and I get into trouble if they're not in Victoria too, Dayle, just for the record, but this one's okay. Cameron Brown. So I think that would be in Brunswick. Would that be the same, Cameron Brown, Nick?
Oh, I reckon that's good old Cam. Tell you right now, Brett Coffey won't be happy. Cam will be taking a mare off to Northern Rivers rather than Alabar.
It's all good. I think Brett's in charge of the Harness Breeders site today. So yeah, so it's that's one of the things we have to get out of the way. The other one I've got to do very, very quickly. We've got to say a huge thank you to our other sponsors in Barrastock who do a great job for us. Announcing they give 10 bags of their breed feed and feed away each week. And this week's winner. Last week for contributing. So basically, and the way they work, Dale, we asked people to contribute, and they did it in folds. Really, they did. We had some of them. We had over 100 conversations, which 100 people commenting on the shows, which was just brilliant. It just highlighted. I think there's a craving for this product. As far as breeding and getting the information out there, and I think the show's really worked really well. We've got some metrics of it, how it's worked, but that's not what we're about here. I can pump my own tyres up all night, can't I, Nick? We will hand over to you, Mr. Dayle Brown, and firstly, just on the breeding announcements today, and how you came to come about, and I'm more than happy to sit back. I think I should let you and Nick talk here because I think you guys have been well and truly at the fore for a lot of these dealings.
I might just talk about the collaboration. I'll let Nick talk about the detail. So this has been something that's been underway for a number of months now, and the collaboration with the industry group, including Harness Breeders Victoria, Victorian Harness Racing Club, and other members of our industry to try and work out how we stimulate breeding within Victoria. Off the back of the state tour when I first came into the role late last year, we went around to all the clubs, and the common theme, Paul, was the issue around getting that second and third mare and foal. How do we stimulate breeding in Victoria? How can you get us back? How can you give us the incentive to be able to breed to that extra second or third mare, but keeping it ring fenced, keeping it in Victoria? So we went away as a group, and it's fair to say, and Nick will agree with this, that we've gone from one end of the pole to the other to try and find a system or scheme to be able to come up with that we thought was the optimum for the industry. That it's a long-term scheme, not a short-term, as we refer to as sugar hit. We wanted a long-term scheme to really drive the industry forward and provide some real great incentives for our industry people here in Victoria. So that's what the basis of today's announcement is. And I'll hand over to Nick, and he can talk through all the nuances of the scheme. Thanks, Nick.
No worries, Dayle. Thank you. Paul, I'll share my screen, but I might just need you to enable me to do so since you're the host. Dayle, just wanted to express, just more while Paul does that, our gratitude to HRV for its very strong financial assistance in making sure that these Breed to Succeed programs have gone to air. We've been very grateful of your support, and thank you for the role that you've played.
Yeah, thanks, Dick. And it's also, as you alluded to today on radio, a big thank you to the Racing Minister, Martin Bakula, and his assistant and advisor, Simon Shield. They're very supportive of the breeding industry and are delighted with this announcement. We look forward to you taking us through this afternoon.
Did I hit the right button, Nick?
Okay, well,
yep,
you did. So hopefully you can see, is that coming up okay,
yep.
Paul?
Perfect.
Look,
Perfect.
just a simple PowerPoint presentation here. We'll get through it fairly quickly. I think a lot of people, they would have heard the announcement, but if not, we'll go through it now broadly, and then we'll get into a bit of detail later on. But obviously been working with HRV for some time. How could we incentivise breeding? The first win bonus, we all know it's been a very significant part of the VicBred scene for quite some time, and that became the key area of focus for the group. So, as we know, if you were VicBred eligible, everyone ran for the same bonus. So, what we tried to look at here was how could we incentivise different outcomes that were going to have the best outcome for Victorian breeding and Victorian breeders. And so we've gone with the 3-tier approach. And for avoidance of doubt, current horses and those about to be foaled, they continue racing under the current rules for the $7,000 first win bonus. This will apply to mares about to be bred, i.e. the foal crop of 2021. So what were we trying to achieve? Well, we basically wanted to get an improved return for all breeders who invest in VicBred eligible stock. We also wanted to look after our best colts. It's been very hard for our best colts to be competitive in the breeding market. They're competing against the best in the world. We know that you can deal with this in terms of price of the stallion, but we wanted to do something else to help them because that, in a way, helps keep money here in our industry. We also wanted to support our member studs who stand our best colts, who take that risk and give them a chance. And also clearly support our breeders who go that next step and patronise our best colts. We also thought that this could add value to the foals being bred, hopefully improving the economics of breeding. So what we've called VicBred Basic, this applies as defined by the rules. So none of these rules are being changed as part of these changes. So it applies to the progeny of South Australian and Tasmanian mares bred to any stallion, because of course SA and Tasmania are part of the VicBred program. It also applies to the progeny of WA, New South Wales, Queensland and New Zealand mares bred to a stallion physically standing in Victoria, SA or Tasmania. And that's all about the way the rules are written. To be a VicBred stallion, the stallion has to be physically standing here. So that jumps from 7 grand to 8 grand. VicBred Platinum. VicBred Platinum, what does that mean? It effectively relates to Victorian mares. Their progeny, provided they have the Victorian icon in their brand, you are then defined to be a VicBred Platinum horse. So as defined by the rules, it's progeny of a Victorian mare bred to any stallion. That jumps from 7 grand to 9 grand. So for a lot of our members with Victorian-based mares, no matter who you're going to, you're jumping to at least 9 grand. The new tier doesn't have a name as yet. The HRV team will come up with that as part of the rebrand of all of this. We call it maybe Vicbred Pure, maybe it's Vicbred Gold, maybe it's something else, but it applies to a new subset of Vicbred Platinum that are progeny of a Victorian mare bred to a stallion born in Australasia that is physically standing in Victoria. So this new tier, $12,000, a big jump, and we think will be the sort of thing that will be attractive to those who are best colts and their owners, the studs that support them, and the breeders who go to them, who are often some of our smaller breeders, our hobby breeders. They're the ones that we're really looking to energise with this change. And Dayle, that's reflected in your tours of 8-10 months ago.
Absolutely, Nick, that's correct.
So I've got a couple of lists here. You might say, so who is eligible? Now, I've come up with the best list that I can, and as I've got the old disclaimer here so that none of us get sued, it's a guide, but it gives you an indication of the type of stallions, in this case, pacing stallions, who are eligible. It's a real nice list of stallions, and there's some really strong up-and-coming stallions there for people to choose from. On the trotting side, not quite the same number, but there's some real good quality there as well. Sky Valley, of course, is well known. Down Under Muscles, the sire of Wobbly. And the rest of the crew here have had some really good winners over time.
Hey, Nick.
So what's next? I'm glad you said fickle there when you...
Okay, we're back. So be careful what you say now. It's all good. But unfortunately, we're not going to get Nick's PowerPoint. So I do apologise to everyone for that. It just wanted to freeze. And, yeah, it shouldn't have done that. But anyway, I can't help that one. Sorry, Nick.
That's all right. So, again, I'll go over it briefly, the summary. The three tiers, Vicbred Platinum, Victorian mare bred to any stallion. The foal has a Victorian brand, $9,000 for that first win bonus. That's one that'll cover all of our Victorian breeders. Vicbred Basic, which is for South Australian and Tasmanian mares bred to any stallion, with SA and Tassie being part of the Vicbred program, or where a Western Australian, New South Wales, Queensland or New Zealand mare is bred to a stallion physically standing in Victoria, South Australia or Tasmania. They go to $8,000. The main change and the big headline is the new tier. It's a subset of Vicbred Platinum. So the mare has to be Victorian, the foal has to have the Victorian brand. And where they are bred to an Australasian-born stallion physically standing in Victoria. $12,000 is that first win bonus. And that is a real focus on our best colts, the studs that support them, and the breeders that support them as well. So we're really trying to make breeding attractive for those breeders who are prepared to support those stallions, and there are some really good breeders who do that on a regular basis.
Absolutely. There's a chart actually on the screen right now, Nick, that or was until I just did that, that highlighted those changes to the prize money. And Desiree has actually put a chart up. I don't know if you can see that. It'll probably take a second or two, but it just will give people an understanding of where they stand with mares in Victoria and the likes going forward. Hopefully that'll explain it for a few people. But yeah, it's a bit of a bugger. Couldn't get that other thing working. So hopefully that little chart there does work. I'll get back to you so you guys can keep going, because otherwise Dale's going to be here for a long time. But I'll try and get that chart down in a corner for us as we go. So.
Yep. And Dayle, I think it's fair to say is we've been working on a range of initiatives, and this is a very important step in the process. But it's not the finish line, is it? From our collective perspectives, our aims are to keep on going as we go forward over time.
Absolutely, Nick. This was one thing we had to get out for this breeding season to instill confidence in our participants to be able to breed. We needed to make an announcement quickly in time for this breeding season. But as you rightly said, we've canvassed a lot of ideas around how we can look at breeding from a holistic point of view, how we can stimulate it even more. And as we go forward and as we develop this plan, you'll see other announcements come forward as we move forward into the latter part of this year and early the next year, when we can start talking about other initiatives that will come to the fore. So that's certainly on the table.
Yeah.
And I think, Nick, it's fair to say that it's been a great, as I said earlier in the opening, that the collaboration around this has been the important part. Everyone's come to the table and put something forward, and the ideas weren't particularly one particular sector. There are various range of ideas, and this is the way you come up with a whole-in solution which takes into account everyone's thoughts and wishes. And I think we've come up with a pretty good balanced approach to what this first iteration is of a stimulus for breeding in Victoria.
Mm. Yep. No, that's right. I mean, yep. The long range plan here is really to, when you think about it, actually ask our industry participants to think about that well-bred colt that they have that shows a bit of talent. Maybe it needs to be gelded, but maybe it's a quality that it can be entire for that little bit longer, because if all of a sudden we can get a great range of colts coming through of both gates, all of a sudden, especially given our access to the best stallions in the world, the Bettor's Delights, the Art Majors, the Captain Crunches, the Captain Treacherouses, the Love Yous, the Muscle Hills, their sons and grandsons are going to really be, well sought after, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. And we really needed to stimulate this next crop. We really needed to get horses on the ground. We know our crop's been declining, and over the last three or so years, and in steady progression, but we needed to really get that hockey stick and get it back the other way and get our population up. So with all the innovation and different things we're doing around international, through Europe into America, different race times, that we've got the pool of horses to be able to sustain innovation, to be able to create excitement for people, and to be able to generate and send our industry forward. Without the foal crop, without the population, very difficult to do.
The one thing I like about it, all of a sudden now people just have to stop and think a lot differently about serving mares, one this year, but also possibly the young stock that they've got in their backyard, like the man above your head there, Dayle. He's got a little horse called Utopia. The changes whether he gets gelded now or he doesn't. There's just so many big connotations. Yabby Dam Farms, they've bought a lot of international breeding in, and remember Majestic Player left our shores and went to America because of the lack of opportunities. Now he'll stay here for the great racing opportunities, because he's now can stand at stud, and he'd be very, very enticing at stud next year as a trotter, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic opportunity across the board, Paul, for these types of colts where people would sit there, as you said, and think about, oh, do I want to geld it? Do I want to keep it? As a colt? And now there's opportunity, because as you and I know, you never know what you've got in terms of what it can do from a colt perspective as a sire. So you just never know. And to get the opportunity to give it a chance with this system and this initiative does is a great thing for our harness racing here in Victoria. And you'll see over these coming weeks, and I think, Nick, you're well across this, is that there'll be some real marketing and branding around this. So getting the brand right, getting the whole iteration around what this looks like, and creating some more excitement around this release will come out from the marketing team and HRV and the comms team over the next couple of weeks. We just had to get this out quickly because we knew the breeding season had started, and we wanted this to be well entrenched in people's minds as they make decisions in terms of the breeding season.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I am actually going to warn people. I think we're going to have to go to a two-part series, but that's okay. We'll actually, I'll come back with Nick. We've got about 9 minutes, so please don't stress. What's going on now? We've both all disappeared. Something's happened to my feed, but we're still there actively. To say that it's a trying time this today is driving me nuts. I'm not sure.
Why don't, Dayle, unless there was anything else you wanted to say, maybe...
I'd like to jump to answer, if that's all right. I'll let you to talk a bit more about breeding in general, and thanks for having me on this afternoon. And we can catch up again, Paul, with other announcements in the near future.
We are back live, and you are on camera. Just very quickly, Dale, we alluded to just before about the racing calendar and the changes to that as well. Nick and I will go through it a lot more in depth very shortly as far as what it means going forward for the breeding component. But the racing part of it, it's something that I've been very strong on with people for their own well-being, if you like, and the likes. And I think it's huge news for mine. The mentality issue, like people being able to get away in the cold, hard parts of winter, to get away, you know, obviously without COVID-19 anyway, but to be able to get away and actually be able to enjoy a bit of a life, I suppose, is one of the things I think is great by this whole change of the racing calendar.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. And we made some announcements last week in relation to the racing calendar coming back to some normality to pick up our feature events. Now, the announcements by government yesterday, and we're pretty comfortable with the way the numbers are trending from a COVID-19 point of view. We're pretty confident that our protocols and the way our clubs are structured at the moment, that we can come back into a normalised racing schedule from the 26th of September, which will be the Metropolitan meeting at Tabcorp Park. Now, of course, that'll be subject to any government announcements or restrictions that head the other way, or anything that happens from a COVID-19 perspective. But at the moment, we're heading the right way, so everyone can look forward to our feature events in the back end of this year as set out in our release last week. So exciting times ahead for everybody.
It is indeed. I apologise to everyone that's tuned in. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It's just having some issues. It should have been able to take Nick's feed. I'll probably end this meeting, but we will come back. So everyone that's tuned in, please just hang around. The Facebook feed will come straight back up. It'll probably take me 10 minutes to get everything sorted out. We'll come back up. Dale, thank you so much for joining us. I will catch up with you again. And Nick, if you just stay tuned, mate, I'll flick you through another message and hopefully we can get it going. And we might be able to go through that PowerPoint as well a little bit more for people with the, you had the list of stay-ins and that which has been asked for, Nick.
Yeah, Paul, I wonder if Dayle drops out, whether or not the remaining time he might be all right.
Yeah, I think I've got a gremlin.
I'll drop out.
You can drop out, Dale, anyway.
I'll drop out. Good afternoon, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the catch-up.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
My end. So we can go back to the full start, but it's very exciting, all these announcements, isn't it? I think that's the one thing that everyone should glean from it, what Dayle was alluding to, just changing things up. I think a lot of the breeding, everything has been probably a little bit stale, needed some invigorating, and this is just a huge incentive to make people actually want to get out there and get breeding, isn't it?
Well, I hope that is the case. I think that we've seen a real quantum shift in the quality of our locally bred stallions in recent times. And I'll read out the list here that I've got, and please, as per my disclaimer, it's a guide and not definitive. I'm taking it off the harness.org.au site, but Australasian bred stallions standing in Victoria include Poster Boy, Vincent, Soho Tribeca, The Storm Inside, Jillaby Kung Fu, Yankee Rockstar, Guaranteed. I'm not sure whether Safari's standing in Victoria this year or not, but
he's retired.
He would qualify.
No, he got retired. Clayton retired him just recently, so yeah.
All right, well, that explains that. Restrepo, Good Time Sammy, Major Bronski, and even some of the lesser knowns, Bells and Whistles, Flying Jaguar, Devilish Smile, and Caesar Augustus are all eligible pacing sires. On the trotting side, Sky Valley, Sundance Courage still racing, but a registered sire. Wind Cries Maori, I think he might still be standing. Ten No Trump, I'm Stately for John Campbell. Down Under Muscles, Noopy Kiosk, Blitz Them Calder, and the big ships, Louie. So a smaller number of trotting eligible sires, but I really think that with what Pat, Duncan, even the Rosati's are doing with some of their really well-bred stock, I think that list will expand. I know that Pat Driscoll has been advertising Always Ready. His very good Ready Cash colt is going to be standing at stud in 12 months' time. So he would be eligible for this top tier bonus. I think we're also hoping that we're just going to see a little bit of a shift in everyone's attitude in terms of whether or not they should geld their colts. Because if this can be successful, and it's going to take a little while for it to play out, but if it can be successful and people can see that there is now a commercial or semi-commercial way for our best colts to be successful at stud, that hopefully we'll actually see more of them stay entire. And I think that's good for our overall industry, because it means that it's more likely that the money stays here in Australia and that it works its way around in that cyclical fashion. We still certainly want the best stallions in the world coming here, whether it be physically standing here, shuttling, or even as frozen, because if we're going to keep our herd world class, we still need to have access to the best genetics. And it also makes sense to bring those best genetics as they develop around the world, to bring that and make that available to our breeders. So I think that's really where we'd love to get to, and time will tell whether the market thinks that it's a good idea or not.
I'm sure the market thinks it, and we've got Danny McKinnon's actually put one in here. Follow the stars. I think that's, whether you forget them or not, I don't care. It's actually got people thinking about what stallions they can go to be eligible for this. Go and pick up the stallion guide. I've got it here. The stallion guide.
Follow the stars is definitely right. Danny is spot on, because Follow the Stars, Danny's right, came across from WA. Great example. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it's too late for this year. Maybe it's not. I wouldn't be surprised if again, the market sees this as a good thing, that we might attract a few other of the better locally bred stallions coming to Victoria, because if it's going to create a whole lot of breeding activity, I'd also like to think that it might attract more mares into Victoria, and that can only be good economically, whether they're owned in other states or not. That's great for our breeding farms. It's great for our breeding activity. If we start producing increased numbers like this, I know that it will excite the Minister for Racing, because if we're creating a bigger economic footprint, the government's going to be, even more supportive of this sort of thing.
Absolutely, and Fly Like an Eagle, Alexander Hurley's got involved there as well, and she's right. Sue Markwell's on, and she might not be aware, but Soho Lanakai, Rob Watson, because he's had a slight injury, he's only a 2-year-old, and he's not retired by any stretch, but he's going to stand a good time lodge. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be these good colts that people are going to start thinking outside the square with, as far as when they go to them and when they don't. You said about Pat Driscoll there before. He's possibly got another couple of up-and-coming trotters in his ranks that he might be just saying, well, hang on, we might think around which way to go.
That's right. Look, according to the guide, Fly Like an Eagle is standing in WA. If that's not the case, and Fly Like an Eagle is going to be physically here in Victoria, then I'm sure Allwood Stud Farm will let us know, and Michael Taylor, our good friend, who's looking after the bookings there, if that is the case, then I'm sure that will be announced. But so that's just, I suppose, as everyone's having a look here and working out which stallion they're going to go to, just going to have to be very careful about their selections, and just making sure that they've double-checked that. I think most of them will be pretty obvious, but just need to be certain. The stallion has to be physically standing here in Victoria to qualify. So if the stallion's standing in New South Wales, standing in WA, that's not going to meet this tier. The foal might still be Vicbred Platinum, but may not be part of this extra tier. So we'll all work our way through it, and no doubt as people start to make their choices, these things will become clearer.
Absolutely. We've got a few other people there. I've just put the chart up that Desiree done up for me today, and it's quite, it actually explains to people the best way to qualify for that new tier. And it's basically the mares in Victoria, the stallion is foaled in Australia or New Zealand and is standing in Victoria. Then you're eligible for that. And it's that simple a way of getting your head around it, isn't it? Yep. I hope I haven't got another issue with Nick. Are you talking to me, Nick?
No, I wasn't, but I think my internet was a little unstable there, so I might have just gone a bit skew.
That's okay. We're having a good night so far. I've got the chips and everything ready for a long session, and the way we're going, we're going to be off in 5 minutes.
That's right. Well, people will be wanting to cook their dinner. I see Dayle Collins is on. He'll be lining up in front of the footy before too long. So now that he thinks the Cats are a decent shot this year.
Danny McKinnon put a good one in there. He said about Tiger Tara and Lazarus if they stood in Victoria, and that's the next level bonus when people start propositioning to buy stallions, and it probably puts a bit more pressure back on New South Wales in a way that if people want to buy a stallion, a horse like Lazarus has got a lot more upside standing in Victoria that you know they might be able to guarantee a full book. But in Victoria, a horse like him possibly he guarantees himself a full book, doesn't he? So it probably gives our stud masters as well that have probably been copping a hiding for a few years a little bit of incentive as well.
Exactly right. Bit of healthy competition. We love what our friends in New South Wales are doing. Yes, we're creating some competition, a point of difference, but unashamedly, it's all about trying to keep Victoria at the top of the heap, as we like to think we are, but we love the fact that New South Wales are providing a really good breeding market as well. That's important that we get strong breeding markets across the country, and we love the competition.
Elizabeth McLean chimed in. Major Bronski, you might have forgot that one. You might be in trouble for that at the next committee meeting, mate.
No, Major Bronski's on my list. So
very good.
I spoke to Shane Murphy over the weekend, and so he's very pleased. And so yeah, Major Bronski, good luck to him and Shane. That's great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Shane and them probably been struggling to get a sire for a few years now. All of a sudden, people must remember they're there. They're in the middle of the state as well, so they're definitely there with plenty of stallions and good reputation as well going forward. The other big news, and we will keep on. Right. We will keep definitely on this, but is the change of the racing calendar. And I wanted to elaborate a little bit more with Dayle, but unfortunately, for some reason, Gremlins have just decided they'd take over the whole system. But it's huge news, isn't it? And it's great news as well for breeders because it probably takes a bit of the pressure off having to get them in foal as early.
Look, I think so. There'll be a few people listening to this who are probably better qualified than me in this regard. I think Blanche Poole was part of the listening crew. Awfully hard to get mares in foal in September. I know that personally, if I've had a mare that's foaled in December, I've probably stopped her and given her a year off in the past and started her again the next year. With the change to the calendar year, with the fact that the feature racing probably pushes into the back end, personally, I'm going to be much more comfortable breeding my mares into January, possibly even February. I've got two mares with Paul Graydon that are not due to foal until mid to late December this year. We were going to give them a rest. They're now both booked in as a result of that announcement, because even if we are having January foals, they're still going to be more than 2.5, 2 3/4 even by the time you get into those back-end races. Blanche should probably be able to say better than I, but she probably has better success getting mares in foal in January than she perhaps does in September because the weather's much warmer. Maybe that depends on the season, but I think there's a real good chance that by lengthening the season, that it'll mean that we hopefully get better foal crops, better percentages in foal, and I think that we don't have to worry about yearling sales as much. If you've got a late foal, you can put your foal in the nutrient sale. It's still going to be a 15-month-old foal, even if it is a January foal. So as breeders, we've got more choices now than we probably did have previously, which I think is a good thing. So if anyone thinks I'm off the mark there, who knows better than I, please comment. But that's my take on what some of these things might produce.
But the problem is no one's going to know because we've got to wait and see. But what this does do is makes people sit up, and I'm sure the stallion guide that's been out for a while now, or only out this week, and people hopefully have got their copies, and if not, they won't be far off. sit up and have a look. Like, this is the thing; it's actually stimulated automatically, and it's a 3-year stimulant, isn't it? And then you go back to the racing calendar changing now as well. You know, people are going to stop and look at things so differently and try and plan their lives a little bit differently. I think it's great for the whole industry and myself. That's my thoughts anyway.
Look, I hope so. It's a lot of commercial breeders have been reluctant to send their mares, to untried or young locally bred stallions. I'm really hoping that when we get to the yearling sales in a couple of years' time, that we're going to hear the auctioneer spruik a foal or a yearling as having the $12,000 bonus around its neck, and that is something that encourages bidding, encourages the prices to rise. I'm not suggesting they're going to go through the roof, but anything that can assist with the economics of breeding, to give our breeders a return and opportunity to head back once again and
If you can still hear me, Nick.
Economics of breeding working a fraction better.
If you can still hear me, mate, you're the one with the gremlin. There, you're back.
I can now. Did I break up again? Did I?
Yeah, I think I found me gremlin in the system. I think it might be in your computer at your end, but that's okay. You're just going a bit still for some reason. Probably people.
The problems at the internet at my end.
Yep. So that's okay. Because anyway, that's fine. We don't worry. We soldier on. The show will keep going on. Mate, this show's been very, very good. We've had a lot of people. Liz, earlier, I'll get to yours. Alexander, earlier, I'll get to yours in a sec. It's been a great success, I think. It's got a lot of people talking as well, and it's probably got a few of these things changing, or maybe not forced to change. Nick's just left me. Hopefully he comes back in a second. He should be. He's still actually there. I believe he's still there anyway. He is still there.
I'm back again, Paul.
Very good. I think we found our gremlin. That's for
Paul,
sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Nick. We definitely can still hear you, but we can't see you, mate. And now I can't hear you at all.
My internet is letting us down.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll soldier on for the minute, but this show's been.
It's.
You're gone altogether, haven't you?
No, I've lost you again.
All right. I'll tell you what we're going to do, Nick. I'm going to let you go.
No, I'm still here. I can.
All right. What I'll do, we'll see. Hopefully your internet might catch up in a second. What I'll do is just go through a couple more of these questions, especially if you can hear them. We've got Alex Hurley who said, we bred to Alto Christiani in New South Wales last year, and something happened to it just then. Last year, and we were happy with the $500 colonial rebate with basically pays your breeders challenge fee, but a $12,000 first win knocks that out of the water. This year we'll be breeding 2 trotting girls. Next year we're going to 2 pacing girls, and definitely be looking to locally breed, which is what we want. Blanche Poole has put in here, yes, does help for the ladder sales too. Yes, definitely more choices. But yes, agree, Nick Hooper, it's hard to get mares in foals in September. So I think that's definitely a bonus. You seem to be a lot clearer there now, Nick. You seem to, every time you broke up, you're pulling a funny face, mate. It happens when you barrack for Richmond, I think. And he's not there, though. He just keeps coming and going, unfortunately. And yes, Dayle Collins, the Tiger Premiership screensaver is definitely an issue. What I'm going to do while I'm waiting on Nick, we're just going to make sure we get across all the sponsors. We can't do these shows without the sponsors, and we've got to give a big thank you to Harness Racing Victoria. Go to www.thetrots.com.au and visit the barn. It's getting bigger and bigger. We're getting a lot more feedback from the barn. It's a great way to keep in touch with all the breeding initiatives that are coming up from HRV and Harness Breeders Victoria. Don't forget to also go to Harness Breeders Victoria, the website, and you'll be able to keep in touch with everything. We want everyone to become a member, firstly, of Victorian Harness Breeders Victoria. Please become a member. Go to the website. It's not hard to join up. You just go to the website there. It's $55 for a season. We're a little bit behind at the minute. We've gone past the 1st of September. but that's okay. We will it'll still join up and become a member, and it's encouraged. If you are watching this still and enjoying it, this show, please make sure you go to the Harness Breeders Victoria Facebook page and hit like as well, if you haven't already liked that page as well, because they need as many followers as they can. As I said, unfortunately, we've just had a few little gremlins in the system tonight, and it appears to be at Nick's end there as well. Jared Maloney asked about Woodlands with Speeding Spur, and maybe that's something they will look at next season. So, yeah, definitely this season standing in New Zealand, he's not eligible for it, but yeah, definitely next season he will go there. Just please be aware that Nick is definitely trying to get back to us. I'm trying to get through all these questions. Nathan Rice. So if your mare is in New South Wales, but you have served it to a Victorian stallion, do you qualify for the new incentives? No, you do not. You'll be eligible for the $9,000 service fee, I believe, Nathan, but not the platinum, not the $12,000. It is Victorian breeders going to Australian and New Zealand bred stallions. So that is the idea of it. Brian Rossiter, I've worked on studs for 30 years or more. Changing the breeding season to October is just logical. Mares are more fertile. Cycling is better. This would lower the cost of owners, breeders and producers. I'm not qualified to answer that one, Brian. I can understand a lot of merit in it as well. I do know, talking to some of the studs, we have a lot of issues with that. Nick is still online, but unfortunately he's just not coming up, so I do apologise. He's just there, but he has got something major going on with his at his end. Stallion tenders are still going. We still have stallion tenders at the minute. The Swan Hill one is just closed, but I'm sure if you get in touch with Jared Maloney, I just heard some noise, so Nick might be back. If you get in touch with Jared Maloney, it has closed at 5 o'clock, but don't be scared to get in touch there with him, and well done to all the studs for getting behind them. Alabar, Aldebaran Park, Trump Bloodstock. We've got Soho Bloodstock. We have Jillaby Kung Fu, who is actually standing at Good Time Lodge. Woodland Stud with 3, and Kath McIntosh with 2, who are both eligible for the new Victorian Breeders Incentive. They changed their closing date. Their date will close this Friday, the 11th of September, so get involved with that one as well. It is there, so you can see all it. It's a purely all trotting stallion. Aldebaran Eagle, Cardigan Boko, Down Under Muscles, great success. Majestic Sun, Sky Valley, Kinvan Avenger and Angus Hall are all involved there. Bendigo have a stallion tender involving Vincent, and that one I'm not right across all of that, but please get involved. Well done to Alabar and Neville R for getting behind that one there. And also Horsham have Speeding Spur offered up as well, and I was meant to go to their Facebook page for Horsham Harness Racing Club, and you'll be able to find all the links there to that one. I'll go back and see if Nick's here. No, Nick has totally left me, so I am sorry about all this. It's just gets a little bit tricky. I'll just make sure he's not trying to rejoin. No, he has totally left me. So we will keep going. I hope people have enjoyed the show. I can actually get rid of... Okay, try and get rid of a couple of these things and make it a bit easier. Keep the sponsors happy. And we must say a big thank you to all the sponsors involved. Barristock supplied me with some shirts and some clothes. Thank you very much. But they've been rolling over there. Everyone from Harness Racing Victoria, Foresight, Kerr, Kentucky Equine Research, Woodland Stud, Alabar, Neville R, Empire. I'm going to get into trouble. Victorian Harness Breeders. Well done to Robbie Orber and the crew as well. And they've been doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. Harassed Trotter, we got over there to see those just recently. Alabar, as I said. ASBAR, Australian Standardbred Breeders Association as well. They got involved. The 2 yearling sale groups, Nutrient Equine and also APG, have been involved. Kath McIntosh from Northern Rivers as well. So pretty much, and Kentucky Equine Research. So thank you very much to all those sponsors that have been involved. This show is not finished. The series is not finished at all. We will continue to produce some of these shows. It won't be coming on next week. We'll put it into hibernation for a while, but stay tuned to both Harness Breeders Victoria's Facebook page and website, and also my page as well, and we'll be doing some more shows of these Coming up, I've actually got a couple of things. Thankfully to Desiree, we've got a couple of these going up. Nick's put it through an apology, and Nathan Rice, no worries. And I hope I was right, Nathan. If I was wrong, someone from Harness Breeders Victoria will clarify. But your mare needs to be in Victoria, I am sure. And going from there, early bird prizes. So we had a couple of competitions going for members. So to sign up early to be a harness racing breeder, you went into the draw to have 2 early bird prizes, and I'm not 100% sure over who are these. Peter Fitzgerald, you've won the service fee to the Storm Inside thanks to Alabar Bloodstock. So that's a great prize because he is eligible for the $12,000 bonus. So not only have you got a quality horse to go to there, Peter Fitzgerald, he is also eligible for the $12,000 bonus. Raced in Victoria, bred in Victoria, and standing at Alabar Stud. So, well, congratulations to you. So hopefully you've got a mare in Victoria and you are eligible for that. And then we also have the Great Success service fee is going to Robert Calcoon, who stands here in Victoria at Nyota Bloodstock, and we must say big thank you to those. Now, Robert, he's not eligible for the $12,000 service fee. That is Great Success. Robert might be, but the Great Success is not eligible for that $12,000. But $8,000 and $9,000 period is incentives as well. So they're not to be sneezed at. They're all gone up from $7,000. And it's written here underneath, and I'm not sure, unfortunately, I've got no one to clarify it for me, but it's got Gus Underwood underneath there as well, who is the early bird special winner as well. What I will endeavour to do, and I'm going to just quickly check if he might answer his phone for me, but I will actually try and just ring Nick, and hopefully we can get him on the phone just to clarify anything else going forward from that. And we will...
Hi, Paul.
Hello, mate. Sorry, and you're on the phone now, so people can hear you.
Good.
And Harness Breeders Victoria have got involved with me. So Gus has won the service fee to Kinvant Avenger as well, mate. So I just went through the early bird prizes, and the rest I'll go back up to the home screen. We've got one more prize to get out, but I just wanted to make sure I covered everything off for you guys as far as how this show has worked and the success of it.
Yeah, we've been really thrilled. Thank you to you for your hard work over the 11 weeks, isn't it been now? Thank you to everyone who has contributed either on screen, as a sponsor, behind the scenes, listening in, sending in questions. I think it's been a great success, and we're really pleased with the way that it's gone. I think that all conversations are about doing something either on a continuing basis or perhaps next year. So we're very grateful for the work that everyone's put in, and look forward to a successful breeding season.
Absolutely, and I'm just going to get a bit of light thrown on it for me because it's starting to get dark. We're getting a whole lot. The one thing about it, down a bit lower, Reezy, just pull that one back towards you. Yep. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some light so I don't go into darkness as well, Nick. They can't see you at all, and then they won't be able to see behind you, Reezy. They won't be able to see me very, very shortly. And we might use this platform. There's a few things I want to get across. Both yourself and Brett are very passionate people. So once COVID-19 clears up a little bit and we're able to, Reezy just said, oh, the black one. We're able to get face-to-face. We'll sit down with you two guys and be able to showcase the way you guys think about your breeding and the likes going forward. So we've still definitely got a couple more things to go in this space, and who knows what happens next year. We'll just work it out from there and see how we go that way. I have to draw out one more prize. My wife's trying to get the light going for me, Nick. It's one of those trying things. COVID-19's thrown everything at us, mate.
It has, and the award that we drew out, or the prize we drew out for Cam Brown, he has graciously popped his popped that prize back in the ring, and would like you to choose another worthy winner, please. He, given he's a HRA employee, he has disqualified himself. So thank you, Cam. Very kind of you. So if you've still got that bucket handy, Paul, maybe draw out another name for that 250 large to be spent at Northern Rivers Equine.
Cal Micallef has won that prize. So Cal, C-A-L, Micallef at Greendale. I'm pretty sure Greendale's in Victoria too, isn't it, Nick?
I don't know. It's probably green and it's down in the Dayle, but other than that, I really don't know where it is. So that's not good that I don't know that.
Another light.
Green. I'm looking it up now to see where it is.
And .g has put in there 3 cheers to everyone involved. I must say 3 cheers to a lot of the people like .g that have got involved. They've asked hard questions from us from time to time, and also the easier questions as well. I have to draw another name out, so while I've got it here, so I think one of the great things, Nick, I've found is drawing out New South Wales people. The fact that there are people in New South Wales who have become members of Harness Breeders Victoria through a lot of the incentives. I think you guys, the people in charge of Harness Breeders Victoria, should be very proud of that you got another state, breeders from other states, and not just one or two either. There's quite a few becoming members of an association in a different state. I think that's just a great fillet for you guys.
It has been actually. Desiree's kept me abreast of all of our members returning and our new members coming on board, and we've been very grateful for the number of new members. I've found Greendale, by the way. I should have known where it is. It's just north of Mooneyong on the way to Ballarat, so just near Jess Tubbs and Greg Sugar's place. So hello to everyone in Greendale.
I've also given another one for Ballarat as well. I'm sticking to the Ballarat theme here. So this is for the last of the 10 bags of feed. I better make sure I get his photo up there on the picture for the Barrastock feed. Janine Pitt is our lucky winner for the last of our 10 bags of feed. We must give a big shout out to Barrastock. I don't think I mentioned them just before as one of the sponsors. It was valued at $350 for 10 episodes, so you don't have to be a rocket scientist to work it out. Do another episode. They said, yeah, throw another 10 bags of feed in. So I think well done to Barrastock for getting behind this. And I also noticed today giving out the free hats, mate.
Yes, I hit up Andrew Stoper for a Barrastock hat, and it came during the week. So just keeping the scone warm with the Barrastock hat. Very nice quality hat, by the way, as well. So thank you, Andrew. Most impressed.
Absolutely, and we even got it worked out. I have been wearing that one the last couple of weeks, so I thought I'd better go to the blue one and get away from it. So that part is all good. The people behind the scenes as well, Brett Coffey, Desiree Keating, Kath McIntosh, that have been giving me a lot of input, yourself, and driving this forward too, mate. I must say a big thank you to you guys. I will say a huge thank you to Desiree, because I send her a text message or I ring her and she sorts most of my problems out very, very quickly. So I must say a huge thank you to Desiree. She's always there. I better say thank you to my wife too for turning the light on. Otherwise, everyone would be thinking we're sitting in the dark. So I better say thank you to her. And I think I chip her from time to time, but I'm not sure about that. So yeah, that's all good. And we've got a few people on there thanking Barrastock. Well done, Jared Maloney and .g, two worthy winners. And Andrew Soap has chimed in and said we're most welcome. So trying show tonight, Nick. It's been a little bit tricky, but we got there eventually, mate.
Look. I think the key is hopefully we've got the message out. There'll be people asking plenty of questions. I'll have a look through the two feeds on Facebook and answer as many as I can when we turn off now. But any questions, send them through via Desiree, and we'll do our best to answer them as everyone's getting their head around what it means. And good luck to everyone for the breeding season.
Absolutely. I just want to there's a couple of things that came up that we were going to touch on and we didn't get to. We've said about everyone's ideas, and it's none of these is gospel, none of these always work, and the like. Tall Dark Stranger, the best horse in the world at the minute, won the North American Cup just the other day in America, is by Bettor's Delight. Mark Hughes would be ready to jump down. I don't think I thanked them either, actually, Woodlands, because they got involved too with one of the great sponsorships before. There's too many people, I'll be in all sorts of trouble. But we had Brett Coffey on, we've had you on. Everyone has their ideas on what makes a stay-in and all the rest. And I just thought it's not a bad one to point out, because he was a 19-year-old stay-in when he served Precious Beauty, who at the time was 16 years of age. So that sort of, gives people, if you've got an old mare and you want to go to an old stay-in, it's not steadfast that it won't work. And then the other part of that, which goes back to you, the crosses, the first lot of crosses were a 4x4 to Abercrombie. So everything that we've been trying to get across with this show and this series is that it's breeding, and that's what makes it so great, isn't it? There's no steadfast rule that works or doesn't work.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, you're right. Abercrombie 4x4. There's a couple of crosses in the 4th and the 5th generation. So it's getting out towards the other end of the spectrum compared to our little mate Utopia, who we talked about a few weeks ago, being 3x2 to Muscles Yankee. So the answer is, it's there is no necessarily any direct answer. So and that's the beauty of it. The key, I always say, though, is do your research. Learn, read, find out as much as you can.
Absolutely. Dayle Collins, thank you very much, mate. He said, well done, guys. Appreciated the information. Nellie Melba's filled a page full of notes. I'm sure she has. Another Barrastock winner. Robert Calcoon, you're more than welcome, mate. He was a winner of the service fee. Blanche Poole, can we get all information on the new changes on the HBV website? I'm sure Desiree is working on that right now. There'll be no worries there at all, Blanche. It'll come up.
And
Jared's also
I'll send. Yeah, I'll send through my my PowerPoint so that Desiree can put that up. But I think everyone needs to just take it as it's not a legal document. It's just my take on things. So if a name is missed out, don't sue me.
No. No, definitely don't sue him. He'll get a bit upset about that. And what we might do too, just winging this a little bit, we might, hopefully with COVID restrictions happening in sort of 2 or 3 weeks' time, Nick, we might be able to get together, a few of us on camera, and be able to showcase what we're trying to do today a little bit better anyway, without the interruptions of the internet falling and all the rest. But we'll work something out between the three of us as we go along there. We talk about Shane Murphy before. I've got Dave Murphy trying to ring me, but that's okay. He's left me now, so do apologise for that. And Desiree's already on it. Yep, they'll be on the website by tonight. Desiree's already said there. So well done, Nick. Testy little show for us, mate, to finish off with, and I'm pretty sure I've done all the sponsors and everything else that we've done. Going through, I'm just running through all my notes to make sure. CAF's prize was won earlier. The early birds have been done. We've done the 2 Barrastock. Well done to those. Staying Guide is out. They should have got them now. If you haven't got them, get in touch with Harness Breeders Victoria. I think we're done, mate. I think it's been a lot of fun. And going forward, who knows where we'll end up. I don't have to read that last one because he's praising me, and I don't need any praise because I'm not sure what happened tonight, but it's all good. Nick Hooper, thank you very much, mate. We'll I'll throw to the last ending of this show, and thank you for promoting Harness Breeders Victoria, but also getting these incentives off the ground, mate. I know you had a lot to do with it behind the scenes, so well done.
Thank you. Good on you, Paul. Have a good night, everybody. We'll catch you all soon.
Thanks, Nick.